Hi Vimal, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jatin. How is it going with you? How did
All
the
well, yeah.
Lucknow talk go?
So it went really well. This time we talked about the importance of building communities. And since it was a community meetup, they do it once every year. It was the third time that they were celebrating their anniversary. And it was around the essence of how, they've been networking, they've been building this community, they've been helping each other out. And who are these people, right? So these people are CEOs, CXOs, corporate trainers, soft skill trainers, small business owners of Lucknow. So it was beautiful. And as you know, it's the city of Nawabs. So the people
Yeah,
were more than warm and welcoming. So I, being a guy from Gurgaon, could really use that.
that's great to hear. Uh, so, that's fantastic to know. I think you were uh, you're a pretty outgoing guy. So I see that you mingle with people pretty easily. I think that's one of the traits that community managers need, especially offline community managers, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And very smartly and very rightly, you just put offline there. Yeah, in online communities, you may not need it as much. You may not need someone as social and outgoing, but for offline, of course, it's a must have. It's not a good to have. You need to have it. If you don't have the craving inside you to want to talk to more people, to want to know more people, to want to share your story and get to know more stories, it's not going to work out. It's a
Yeah,
misfit. Don't do it. It's bad.
exactly. Yeah. Can you tell me a bit about what you would usually do at Hauser?
So my work would revolve around, curating experiences, checking whether the NPS score, the Net Promoter Score, is on track or not, which means walking through feedbacks, getting to know member stories. Sometimes, go stalk my members online and see what they're doing. If there's a good moment that is happening in their office, how about we throw a little treat for them in the evening with their friends, mobilizing micro communities. So earlier, so now, of course, we have a diverse team. We have expanded. Earlier in the beginning, I would take the entire sound system and everything. I used to call it dhol pitara. I don't know if you know about the term or not. So I'd have a lot of this stuff, marketing collaterals, and I'll have placards for pictures, and I'll have
Yeah.
a camera hanging around my neck. That's how I do it in the beginning. Nowadays, life is very sorted. You have teams and everything to take care of. You hire vendors and everything. Once you expand, I think, of course, it happens. But
Yeah.
more or less, I think the fact of the matter is, when I was curating experiences and events, and when I was doing it myself, the kind of value that derive out of it, that's great. So my work revolves around ensuring that value stays, meeting the members there, knowing their stories there, interacting with them more, making them meet more like-minded people, right? This was what was ideally my initial community journey. But now, since I'm at Hauser and I manage people also, so I have to, so while this is happening, we're also moving brand evangelism. So we are helping mobilize micro communities where we identify our own mini community managers, I like to call them. So our
Mhm.
minis we identify from our members, and these members then run their communities, and we mobilize them, and we give them the catalytic information, which will be like some content around it, some brand around it. So there was a cricket community, so we help them connect with Fitzo, because it's easier for brands to reach out to brands for tie-ups, and it's running beautifully. And during COVID, when they were not able to go out and play cricket, you know what our members did? They became an online cricket buzz platform where people would have discussions around it, and add old videos of some cricket shot. And I don't watch cricket, but see how much I know about it because of being around a
You're
community
part of a
like that.
community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell me a bit about Hauser and what's the vision behind the company?
So, to be honest with you, Vimal, we live in India. Okay, so this could have had been a different story for any other co-living player, in the entire world. But we live in India, and in India, if you are a bachelor and you're a migrant, you're coming from a different city. Even though we are the country that says "Atithi Devo Bhava," we do not make our own feel welcomed at all. I mean, a bachelor trying to get a house on rent, it's just not a nice scene. I mean, look at my face, how the expression changes. Look at yours. It's not a nice scenic view at all. The way bachelors are judged, you and me
Yeah.
combined, as to, and I can just turn around, I can flip around my camera for you, my screen for you, and show you my room. I keep it clean, and you can see that it's the sound is pretty silent. I like it like that. But that does not mean that just because I'm a bachelor, I'm at that age group and I'm not from the city, I'll be put in those criteria. That's one. That's society. What's other is the brokers, So these brokers will rob you off of your hard-earned money just because
Yeah.
they have a simple piece of information that we do not have. That's not right. That is not something that you do with your guest. So about that, so this jaundiced image of migrants or urban millennials trying to want to stay at a tier 1 city initially at the moment is something that we wanted to change. But while we did that, we didn't want to do it the old conventional way. If we wanted to do just that, we could have just taken a building and just told people, hey, you can come here and stay and no one's going to say you anything, right? And give them a guard and give them a housekeeper, and that's done. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to do more than that for them. We wanted to really solve the problem of urban loneliness. Today, if somebody goes back home to a PG where they're staying, and that's their story, because we do research, right? So that's their story. They say, I go back home and four empty walls are like shouting at me because there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And then millennials getting involved in, let's say, drinking or in smoking. That's fine, everyone's partying. I'm not judging. I'm saying it's totally fine, but I'm saying, what are you doing while you're doing that? So you meet your friends and you drink and you party, that's fine, but what do you do at the party? So we at Housr want to provide that community experience where people do things, where people become doers, where life is just more beautiful. You have like-minded people around where you can have conversations, and people who are all working professionals. So you all have like a almost the same desired larger vision. It combines somewhere, it meets somewhere, and that's ideally the idea, where a couple of people can come, stay, have a good time, and grow in their lives and grow holistically, not just work wise, but their personality grows. They groom because they meet more people, they get to know
Yeah.
more stories.
I think uh, that's a fantastic vision. Because especially as somebody who had struggled with finding a house when I was a bachelor. Now I'm married. When I was a bachelor, so I actually struggled finding a house myself. So I was people usually get I mean people of our age usually get judged by brokers and owners. We it gets There are other players like Nestaway and others, but that still doesn't solve the problem of finding a roof on your head. So I think Hauser has a fantastic vision. I think it has uh, the ceiling is there is no roof. I mean, pun intended, to how it can grow. That's great to hear. So you're a community manager there. Uh, I see that the community management space, at least in India, is pretty new, and a lot of people uh, don't know what it actually entails. Okay, day to day. Can you tell me about what the role actually is about?
So, okay, while I jump to that, I would agree with you hands down. Not a lot of people know about what, community management actually is and how different it is with respect to your industry. People do not know
Yeah,
that. You know why they don't know that? Because pre-COVID, there was a different wave that was going in the market, and that was content and community. So they were the super hip words of the market. Everyone was just adopting it. People got to know that Facebook has changed their color and now it's added gradient in their logo, and Facebook has adopted communities because Facebook groups and everything. What are communities? Groups, of course, but that's exactly it all was. So all brands wanted to build communities, all brands wanted to get into the space. And if you really look at it, it's pretty simple, and if you really look at it, it's pretty complex. So it's just a group of people who have a shared vision, who are trying to do something together and help each other in the process. That's all about a community. That is it. Now, for brands, how can it make sense, right? So, for example, there are evangelists in your community. For
hmm,
example, if you're Body Shop, which I am a user of, I love that brand. I really would like to know more about the new fragrances that are coming, or maybe I just did not like a specific, body butter, and I would like to talk about it. Why are you still making it? Who are these people who like it? What do they talk about? Maybe because I'm such a fanatic customer of that brand, I'm an evangelist of that product, that I'm talking about this right now. So maybe if there's a community for me where I could go and meet people like that. Now, it cannot be social media. Of course, I'm not going to go and write a comment about it. It's not
yeah,
that. It's someone who puts in this thought that a customer like Jatin from Body Shop Things, that a customer like Jatin maybe would like a conversation around this. So maybe we should curate an event or an experience around it. And then I, being a user of that product, being a customer of the product, I go and I enjoy that experience and I really love it. And my brand recall is very strong. I love the brand even more. And I am activated as an evangelist because I'll go to people, I'll tell about that event to people, right? So brands can do it like this. But if you, even if you're doing it like this, you see, the real value is when someone is putting in that effort, that for user personas like Jatin, this is something we should definitely add. And there are 5 user personas we have in total. So we should do this kind of engagement activity, event curation, experience curation around it. So where our community engages. So that's where the hook is. That is where people make a lot of mistakes. So to come back to your question, where you say how, what is the right way to figure this out, and to tell you that it's pretty simple. If your brand is a co-living space like Housr is, you need somebody outgoing and social. You can
Yeah.
even look at someone who is organizing open mic events or is an open mic stand-up comedian. Can be the place,
Yeah.
so long as the person understands brand guidelines and rules, it's fine. But if you're looking at a brand which is an online brand, for example, an online education brand like Byju's. Now, have you heard about Byju's student community? Have you heard about the white labeling of that? Are they doing it? If they're doing it, which they're not, by the way, if they're doing
Yeah.
it, then in that particular case, they would need community managers who would not be social media managers, who would not ensure that how many likes, what engagement, what traction is coming to that platform, who would be more worried about, hey, how could that one comment be like left unattended for like a second? When someone would have written that comment, I could have just quickly replied so that, we could have had a conversation and I would have known more about my customer. That's what a community manager is. I want to know you more because I like you so much. I want to know you more. And that is what the difference is. So, and this is more of an attitude and passion role, I feel. It's not a skill based role. So for example, I may need Canva today, I needed Canva earlier. I know how to edit videos in Final Cut Pro, I did it a lot earlier. But today I have grown, I have specific people who are doing that, and they're so much more better than me at it. I understand it, so it's easier to work, there's no friction. But like I'm not using any skills that I so many of skills I used to think when I was like, a first jobber, that wow, I have so many skills. Yes, now I'm feeling very happy because I can do so many things. It's not the case today. So it is pretty simple. So it's not you should know a little bit of everything. You should be a little bit of generalist. It's important because you have to work cross functionally with so many people. So it's important for you to know at least basics of everything. But once you know that, that's enough, and that's fine. You just need a great attitude and a lot of passion. You need to feel for the brand that you're working for. If you're a community person and you feel for the product, feel for the brand, then it's fine.
Yeah.
Then you're going to do it.
So two questions there. So one is you were mentioning about how community management is different from social media management. Can you speak about it in detail, like what the actual difference is?
So, sure, sure. So, for example, if you look at social media manager, a social media manager's responsibility is to ensure that a content piece every day goes out on the platform. An
Yeah.
external communication content piece goes out. And a social media manager's responsibility is that a social media manager shares the report of the engagement rate of the post that he has posted, of the number of views, of the number of post impressions, right? A social media manager, when puts in money into the system to run an ad or a campaign, the reason is to derive conversions and
Yes.
pure business, right? Pure business side. You are more worried about how many people are following you, have you gained more traction or not, more or less that. But if it's a community manager, then a community manager would be working more towards, let's say, not one content piece every day, but one message or a conversation with one person every day. So for a social media manager, a lot of followers are very important, but for a community manager, being able to reach to only 10 people in a day one on one is enough. you know that's how the goals are different. However, when a community manager is at it, the responsibility of the community manager is to ensure that this user becomes an activated user, which means wants to go to the platform again, wants to engage with
Yeah.
the members. How do you do that? You talk to the person, you get to know what they would really like, and you have a shared interest. You love the brand, they're using the brand, and they're using it because they love it, and that's why you're on that call. So you
Yeah.
work together and you create something substantial. That substance comes into the system and it just becomes beautiful. It's just gigantically different. You cannot
Yes.
call a social media expert. First of all, you can't call anybody a social media expert. Social media changes every day. So I am an expert today, I'm not an expert tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you cannot call community managers, social media experts, they may know a little bit of it, but they know a little bit of everything. They know a little bit of ops, of finance, of sales, of showing around the property, of showing around the space, of showing around the brand, because they are, front facing, front runners. But that does not mean that it makes them that. They would know it is because community people, like you said, offline community people are outgoers. Outgoers social people are generally loud on their social platforms, maybe are posting stories on Instagram or on Snapchat, so they have decent social profiles. They do have a reach also, and followers also. I've seen
Yeah.
it higher. But that does not mean that they're after audience. The reason they have that reach is because the people want to come back for the value that they give, because community
Right.
people believe in value. That's all
Yes.
it's all about.
I think I can summarize community management, with two things. One is it's about relationship building, and it's about customer retention. I think this
Correct.
happens after you convert that person into a customer. Whereas social media management, it's basically you're engaging with prospects and you're trying to convert them into customers.
Yeah, so correct. So, for example, for social media, the journey of prospects will be A to B.
Mm.
For community, it will be A to B to C. So
Yes.
A to B is when you have a prospect, which becomes your customer, which becomes your member.
Yeah.
Then this community member then gets their friends on board, referrals. So those referrals, are actually the A to B to C in a community's place. If communities are done right, and if they're built well, and if they're truly, truly, truly built by somebody who really is passionate about, getting things through in that, then referral rates are as high. Referral rates are very high. Like for us, the referral rates were above 50% to a 57% in a property where we had 450 beds and had
Mm.
100 people living. So what we're trying to say is, out of the 100 people who come and live at the property, more than 50% of those people are because of referrals and not because of external activities where we're trying to acquire the customer. That's that. And of course, retention. Of course, retention. Why would someone want to leave you? There are only two ways. No one leaves you. Either you tell them when they come to your home, you tell them, hey, this is not a place for you because you're looking for readers. And we guys are not book readers. We only watch movies. Like, I don't even remember when was the last time I read a book. So, this place is not for you. Hey, but I can direct you. The house next door, they are readers. They read only comics, but I don't know. Maybe they could help or they could guide you. That's one. So, you tell them at the door, hey, don't come in, right? Or you let them in if they're there. If they've come inside and you know that it's the shared interest, now they should stay. Why should they leave?
Yeah.
However, if someone has to leave, then you say, hey, you did not adhere to the community guidelines. You can't hurt anybody's sentiments here. So sorry, you'll have to.
Yes.
You have to. So there are only three things. Either you don't let them in, second, you let them in, they stay, and third, you ask them to leave. That's all. It's pretty simple.
Absolutely. I think so. With you handle people every day. I think there will be a lot of challenges that you are going to face every day. It's not a simple job, right? So, can you tell me about some of the challenges that you faced and how you overcame them?
So, wow, after saying all of this, it's not going to sound really nice. So, basically, I work out of the head office, and I do go to the properties from time to time, but I'm not there 24/7. I'm needed in the office. I'm needed in the office more. Just a second.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yep. So I'm needed in the office more. So, which means that I have to coordinate from there, and I'm not physically present there, which of course causes anxiety for an individual contributor. I've stayed in IC for quite some time, and with a lot of people that I'm managing, ensuring that the job's getting done. That's the first problem. With me, that's the last problem, because my team's very hardworking. Now sometimes they're overworked, and if I will go with a project to them and they will not say no, you know sometimes they do that, and I tell them that it's also your responsibility to ensure that you're communicating to me that how the allocation is to happen, because if I will not get that heat from you, I would not know, right? I'll keep on. It's my job to give you more work, right?
Yeah.
And so that we become high performing team from just a performing team. So the challenge that I faced was, the team was phased in my second cluster. People were very worked up, and there was another project that came. for which we had to do a drive for another cluster we had to help out. And I allocated two of the resources there. And no one actually told me about it, that these guys were worked up. They worked till 1 in the night, and next day in the morning, I told them to be there at 8:30 because we had a couple of move-ins we had to entertain, and they were new team members who were there. So we had to be there for the, if we are there only, then the new members get encouraged, right?
Yeah.
So I did that. But when I got to know about it, we came up with a process. Of course, first there was a treat that was on the house for everybody because of those guys, because they didn't complain and they went ahead because their passion of the brand led them through. And they were also punished. So they were given a half a day on a day that suited us better, so that they could go and enjoy and relax. It's important to give yourself a pat on the back from time to time. Maybe just sit on the bed and just think what all you have done. It's important, yeah. You've done it for yourself, and kudos to you for that. And finally, what I did was there was a team call that started happening, which was, so we were doing team calls earlier. That's why work was happening, but we did informal team calls now. So we did informal catch-ups, we called them, and we would get together at least twice a week. Then slowly we decided dates. So now we do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we connect on informal catch-ups, and we all get together and we talk. So we get a drink in a hand. It can be a coffee mug, can be anything anyone can have. It happens at 6 in the evening. It happens on live cam, so it's totally fine. And then we raise a toast for someone who has got a nice story, or a member has been happy, or a member experience we've shared. And then there's a raptor who pens down that, and then we help publish and mobilize that on social media as well, so that these stories come out because it's important.
Okay. So it's pretty interesting to know that you actually mentioned some of these things as challenges, because people like to have these challenges in a way, because it actually improves, it actually builds the team in a way.
It does build the team. It does build the team, but that does not mean that, so we love the brand. I love the brand, okay, but I love my team members equally.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yes. Fine. I love the brand more, but I love my teammates. Yeah. I love them, and their growth is very important to me. I
Yeah.
cannot let them just get burnt out because someone else is going to come to me in the office and say, "Hey, your team performs really well, or you guys have done a good job." Yeah, we do a good job. We're used to it. That's regular for us. So don't tell us that. Tell me this: if my team has achieved something, in their life, if they have achieved something personally, did they surprise their parent? So I will not go and tell you that start gifting things at home, but if somebody has done that, that's beautiful. That should be encouraged. That's the kind of encouragement I look forward for. So this is a big problem, that the team is getting so worked up. If they are not able to tell this thing to me, to the person who cares for them so much, they're not telling this to anybody. We are a brand that cures urban loneliness. My team can't have that problem, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So you had experience working as an online community manager also, right? Earlier.
I have worked for a very, very little bit of time. I worked with Like Minds. So it's a beautiful platform. These guys are building an app. So that application, you go on that application, and you don't have to make a Facebook account of your profile. Hi, my name is Jatin. I do XYZ. You go and you join as a community member. So which means that when you join that community, you are introducing yourself as, hi, I am, and if I'm joining a debate community, so I will say, hi, I am Jatin, and all the questions after that would be around debates. That was the last time that you participated in one. Have you been like an entry level, or like are you an experience level, or what are your favorite categories that you like to debate in? Is it politics? Is it socio-economic, whatever it can be, or it can be CSR or social driven. So it's just beautiful to be a part of that community, is because it's very interest based. It's interest based community. So it's an app, and I have been a part of a couple of communities there, have worked with them also in a couple of areas. It's lucky to be early in the community manager phase.
Yeah.
Gives you a lot of opportunities. So yeah, I mean that's my online community
Right.
management
So
experience.
can you tell
I've been
me
part of.
about the difference between an online community management role and a usual community management role that is offline based?
So
How does it vary?
okay, so I'll tell you, I'll make it very basic, okay? So, community people are caregivers, they are
Hmm.
healers, okay? They're not warriors. They can become warriors at times, but they are healers. They're largely healers. They are givers, okay?
Yes.
Now, if I am in an online, community manager's position, and this is very personal, by the way. I'm not speaking
Mm.
on behalf of uh, the entire sector. I'm not doing that. I'm just speaking for myself. So, I personally feel a little. I don't get the closure. I don't get the closure with online community because I don't know how my customers feeling. But that empathy I can establish when I am face to face, which happens in offline community,
Yeah.
uh, which and by the way, I make this conscious call. Okay, so tomorrow I'm not working in online community platform business. So tomorrow I cannot say I have 10 million community members. I don't want to say that. I'm okay. I'm
Yeah.
okay with 100, and I have more. I have quite a lot more members, but I'm okay saying 100. I'm okay because how many people can I meet, right? So I just want my team has a good time. I have a good time. We keep on doing these events and these engagement activities, keep on putting smiles on people's faces, and keep on looking at that when that smile is happening, being there when that moment is happening. Very
Yeah.
difficult with online, very different with online. So that's the difference. But yeah, numbers you can put better numbers in online because more defined processes. You
Yes.
can track it better. Tracking NPS is not a cakewalk, and there are multiple parameters that come. So online tracking is good, but technology is still to play its vital role, in community. It hasn't. Technology has not come yet because it's not a pressing need, but it is becoming one. It is becoming one. If the doors keep locked for a little bit more longer, this will be the only need that will be left, by the way.
That's the world that we're living in, sadly.
Sadly, yes.
So now that you mentioned it, so how do you guys measure, the success, or what metrics do you look for to measure the success?
So
So you already measured NPS score. So you mentioned that you do that.
yeah, so it depends what we are actually measuring.
Okay.
So, for example, if I'm measuring it for the business, then I'll be measuring for community. I'll be measuring what is my retention rate, what has been my referral rate, how
Mm.
many acquisitions I had from there. So largely these two parameters would be covered. Of course, how many tickets have I got? This will also help me with NPS. So NPS largely covers that bit, right?
Right.
Uh, because we have a TAT and we want to close it before that and we want to reduce the time of that. So it is pretty simple actually. However, if you are trying to check it for a community event, if you want to see that, how do I rate if this event has been a successful one or not, then we have categories of events. So we
Hmm.
have a mini event, we have a mega event, we have a brand partnered event, we have a venue partner event. So we did a lot of trying and testing. We just went to the ground and did events. Then we saw that what our rates have been, how many people are showing up with respect to the total number of members staying in a particular property. Then we would see in that how many fresh faces we saw. Then we would see how many old members came in. How do we track all of this? We have entry. You have to on
Right.
the entry of your details in the iPad before you
Yes.
get into the lounge. So that's that. But it's pretty simple. So from that we see, right? And then of course there's always feedback. Members will always tell you, and it so community is not a must have. Remember that. So it will always be on the positive side. It's a good to have. So must have is I need to have a bed in my room. So if you
Yeah.
don't have a bed in your room, that is crazy. Okay,
Yes.
that does not happen. They're like that can't happen. What is that, right? But communities like today in the evening event is not happening. I can live with that, right? But if the event is happening, oh, I'm very happy. What is the event about? A tattoo artist is coming and they're doing temporary tattoos for free for all Housr members. What? We can pick our own designs.
Rodi, kapda, makan, Wi-Fi, community.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So, and anything that you suggest for people who want to build a career in community management, like what, any resources that you suggest, or anything that you suggest?
I would say if you really want to excel in community management, explore them, join a few, become a customer. Founders do this. Founders, if so, there's one of my friend Venki. He's from Bangalore. I interviewed him when I was an intern in Density Media, and I interviewed his startup Lob. It's a logistics startup, so he
Okay.
manages truck logistics. So Venki went to truck wala's house, lived there in the truck driver's house with his family, with him, lived there for 28 days. For 28 days. He lived there his life through and through. He did not go back home to collect clothes, or he did not go to McDonald's to grab burgers. If the truck driver is not having it, he's not having it. Whatever food he's having it. Whatever lifestyle he's living it, right? So you should do it. You should join a community that you'd like to run, manage. You should join
Yeah,
it. You should see how it is going. You should experience it firsthand. You should confirm whether you really want to do it, do your due diligence, and then see how you can make it better. Because whatever they're doing, you've already learned, right? Do two steps, not more, and you through. And if at all, this is one of my pieces of advice. The second one that I would definitely want to give would be pick up a camera, start recording yourself, become comfortable in front of the camera.
yeah,
It is great practice. You will not have people around all the time, because the moment you'll meet four people, they'll become your friends because you're a community person, no? So they'll become your
exactly.
friends. If they become your friends, how do you know that you can be comfortable in front of larger gathering or different people or more people, right? So get in front of a camera. You get comfortable there, you're comfortable anywhere.
Absolutely. I think the first thing that I really like the first thing there. You said you have to be on the other side of the table to actually experience being a community manager.
Right.
Exactly.
It's important because so I will tell you this, okay? Lucknow we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
So Lucknow, I went and I was staying at the Hilton, and this guy, and by the way, this guy was very, very nice. The property manager of that place. We are maybe hiring him for Housr officer position. He's in interview process with us now, so poaching. But the thing is, I went there, and he was too kind to say that, hey, sir, do you have any luggage? I had, of course, one bag. But I said no. I will carry my own bag. I can't carry your bag for you. So I'll carry my own bag. So you can't carry my bag also, right? If I can't carry it for you, I don't want anyone else to do it for me also, because I cannot return that favor, right? So it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. You should 110% get a first hand experience. And if you can't do it for if you can't do it for anybody else, don't ensure no one else does it for you also. It
Yeah.
is life is much more easier and simpler like that, I feel. And especially in community, you should be smart. We're not even discussing about it, Vimal. We're not even discussing about it. You have no idea the issues you face as a community manager with the community members. And especially because people just become too friendly with you, and now people will call you all the time, but you have a lot of work to do. Community people will find you, they'll start talking to you also, right? It's not just
Yeah.
that you talk, they talk back. And now you'll get involved in the conversation. Your performance level, productivity will go low because you're just talking too much. That also happens.
Yes. I
That's a
think
topic for
that's
another.
yeah, yeah. Sorry to stop you there. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was saying, but that's a topic for another day. I was just pulling a leg.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the challenges that you guys face because you have to actually give a human touch than making it you know like a business. You have to have. I think that's the difference. That's one of the differences that I see between community management and social media management. You have to be there as a person with them. I spoke to a lot of community managers the last few weeks. So all of them mentioned that the difference that they see with community management is you have to be there and you have to be a problem solver.
Correct.
Exactly. Yeah, I think
So yeah, but in the longer run, you have to. So this is what I work on with my team, is to develop that vision. Also, you can't just be only a proactive problem solver. While you have to do that, you have to ensure that the solutions you're giving are not frugal inventions. They're like
yeah,
legit long-term solutions, right? Because one day everything will explode, and then you'll have to go and save everything else, which just ruins your time. Your time is important, so it is extremely important. And like I say, it's great. It depends upon how your perspective strategy is in solving a problem. But yes, everybody has to be a problem solver, by the way. It's not just this profession, it's too generic. I think that's why all the community managers are telling you that, because it's just too generic. You have to be a problem solver anywhere in any field. If you're not, how is that working out for you, right?
absolutely. Yeah,
It's
that's true. Cool. I think it's been great talking to you so far. One last question. Any community manager you look up to or anybody who mentored you in your journey so far?
So there are not community managers are there, but there's only been Smriti for me. And she has not been a community manager mentor for me, to be honest. She's been my network. Then there's been Gopika Gulati, who referred me to Housr, right? So she's been my network. So I've had my network that has always supported me, and I'll give you that even today. I mean, great people are amazing people, love them. But come in terms of someone, I can go and I can discuss my community problems and all. That has been no one person, right? And like I told you, how my journey has been into community, I just jumped into it. I did not plan. I did not go online and search who are the top community. I just jumped into it. I said, hey, let's give it a shot. And it wasn't even a proper community role. It was something that I did in my internship, which resembled with, so Smriti said, go do it and go, right? But to tell you this, and to be fairly honest with you, it's pretty simple actually. One has to just figure out what, I'm so sorry. One has to just figure out what they really want to pursue, and then just lives is sorted. So that is that.
That's I think that's a yeah. It's been a fantastic talk with you, Jatin. So there's a lot of insights that a lot of our viewers can take home. Uh, so yeah, cool. It's been great having you once again.
So formal you become. People should hear our. You should upload some behind the scene footage. Then people will know that how we talk. Otherwise, you'll be like, they talk about community, but they're just so stiff on camera, on recording. Why? Cool, wonderful. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, and keep
Yeah,
doing more. Please cover more people.
of course.
More beautiful, amazing voices should go out and reach the people. You're doing a great work. I think it's amazing that you're building a community of your own community managers, right? So that's awesome. So thank you so much for having me, Vimal.
It's a pleasure, Jatin. Have a great day.
Thank you.